Welcome to this Wednesday's 3 Good Minutes. We are so glad you've tuned in and hope you find these few moments together inspiring and uplifting for this journey we call life. I came across this quote the other day by musician and motivational speaker Jana Stanfield. She offered this wisdom: I cannot do all the good the world needs, but the world needs all the good that I can do. I really like this. I don't know about you, but sometimes I get overwhelmed with all of the good things I think I should be doing. I look at all the needs out there and I feel guilty for not addressing all of them, or at least more of them. Sometimes I am just stunned by all of the directions I could possibly go to address all the needs out there. For example, like many of my United Church of Christ clergy colleagues, I'm not an activist. I'm not out on the street marching with them, and I beat myself up a bit for that. I'm not much of a committee or group joiner, and I berate myself for that. I'm not drawn to prison ministry the way my very esteemed colleague, Dr. Wing, is so passionately drawn. It's just not who I am, who my mother raised me to be, or part of my natural inclination, or in line with my talents and deepest passions. Yet, there are things I do quietly and gladly in the background, all in line with my talents and deepest passions. I love to write. I love to offer hospitality. I love to comfort those who are hurting, and I love sitting at bedsides. And that is why the chaplaincy has always been at the heart of my ministerial calling. I'm also passionate about environmental concerns, so much of my charitable giving goes in that direction. It seems that Jana Stanfield's quote recognizes that there's a place for the good I am personally equipped and inspired to offer. And I find that so liberating. And I think there's ample scriptural support for using our God-given talents, resources, and spiritual gifts to address what hurts we can in the world. That's why God gives different people different gifts. In all our diversity, if we all acted upon our personal passions and gifts and resources, all the world's needs would be met. Stanfield's quote reminds me of another quote that I have loved through the years. That one belongs to American writer and theologian Frederick Buechner, who wrote, "The place God calls you to is the place where your deep gladness and the world's deep hunger meet." He points out that our word vocation comes from the Latin word vocare, to call, which means the work a person is called to by God. The challenge is to hear God's voice amid the cacophony of voices out there, so we need to listen for the voice of God rather than society's voices or the voices of our own egos or self-interest. So again, here's Stanfield's quote: I cannot do all the good the world needs, but the world needs all the good that I can do. Rather than get overwhelmed and stunned into inaction with all the possible directions we could go, let's get quiet for a moment before the Lord and take a personal inventory of the deep passions and gladness God has given to us. And then let us connect our passions and gladness to the world's deepest hungers. We can't do everything, but we each have a special place God calls us to. Amen.